Sorry if I smell like fire. I wore these pants this weekend. This is very gross girl of me to say, but I wore these pants this weekend and the place had like 5 different like fires
I saw where you were. That's
going.
a really cool place.
And literally the moment we walked in, my clothes just like got hit with the smoke.
Yeah.
And I don't like to wash my jeans every time I wear them because it's like you're not supposed to do that with denim anyways, but like I really don't because I like the 3rd day wear on jeans the best. Is like my favorite fit.
Yeah.
And I just washed these right before I went out, so I'm like didn't wash them and they reek.
I don't really smell them.
Fire.
I didn't even smell them when you came in, but that place that you went to is really cool. I took my sister there the last time she was here. I know, I saw you guys were there. I was like, dang.
Yeah, you should have come.
I was at work.
Oh, dang.
Y'all should have came to me.
Yeah, that's where we wanted to go instead of East Nashville at a cool place.
That's not nice. But
the restaurant you work at is not the same vibes.
I'm going to say it. Have sex with a Scorpio.
I could glute bridge your dad. I'm naked. Hold on.
We will be flicking the beans to that.
But she's tatted and I take meth. Is somebody in your house right now?
But you know what? Fuck your ass.
Yeah, I had sex last night.
You can make your own money. You can literally have your own job of your dreams. You can own your own house. You can own your own car. You can pay all your fucking own bills. So what is that man? That man is sex and a best friend, and that's it.
I heard nothing but the truth. I'm not trying to shit talk your place of work,
No.
but like not comparable vibes.
No, not at all. I work at a sports bar, and that's like chill, cool, urban. It was like Urban Cowboy, right? Is that what it's called? Yeah. It's literally a really cool bar, and if you're in East Nashville, you should go there.
Yeah, it's a bed and breakfast, so you could stay there if you want.
And then Lachlan Table is right across the street. That's really good.
I haven't been there.
It's so good.
I always see it on my Resi or Open Table or something like that. It's on one of the two. I always see that like pop up as
It's
a
really good.
suggestion.
They have a really small menu, and it's
Is
honestly
it owned by somebody else? Is it owned by oh my god, what's his name?
It's not owned by the same people as Urban Cowboy. If that's what you're
No, I think it's owned by Sean Brock, who owns Joyland and Husk and
Possibly.
Audrey.
I feel like it's a place your parents would enjoy eating at because it's like it's small, it's quaint. Like truly, you do need a reservation to go there because it's really small. But also the menu was really small, so every single thing that they make, and they have like pizzas and stuff too. It's nothing like crazy gourmet, but because the menu is so small, it's like it's so focused on the taste of the food.
Yeah,
like it's not just like a here's a pizza.
Yeah,
like
I think it might be a Sean Brock restaurant, which if you know anything about the chef world,
they don't even have ranch there.
Yeah,
so that tells you anything. I feel like it's a fancy place.
Yeah,
they don't have a ranch. But no, it was really good because my sister and I got, I think, about these like pork belly things. I don't know. I just remember it being very delicious. And I was like, I could eat here again.
I ate at for people who don't live in Nashville, this conversation is like so pointless. But I ate at Folk the other day when my parents were here. It was pretty fire.
Folk is good.
I hadn't been there before, and I got there. Okay, this was crazy, and like I'm gonna do this. It's like the coolest like appetizer ever, and it's been done before. It's not like this like revolutionary thing, but like when I saw the presentation was just really nice. It was like chicken thighs that were like pounded like thinner, and they were cooked almost like chicken cutlets, like how like Italian chicken cutlets, but they were dredged in panko, and then on top was a Caesar salad. Like a breadcrumb. It's not an Italian breadcrumb. It's like a Japanese breadcrumb.
Okay.
And so it's like fried like that style. And then it was topped with a Caesar salad. So it was like the chicken was the bowl and the Caesar salad was on top. But the way that you read it in the menu, we thought it was like a chicken Caesar salad. And so when we asked the lady, like, do we need to get like another vegetable kind of thing? She was like, maybe. And my dad was like, oh, but we got the salad. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot. And she was like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of lettuce on that. But like a little bit of lettuce. At the time we were like, oh, like we thought she was like kind of joking. Like, ha ha ha, yeah, but she was serious. It was like a giant piece of chicken with like a tiny bit of Caesar salad on top.
She was like,
it was so good. It was like also that piece of chicken is like one of the best pieces of chicken that I've had in a really long time.
Okay, we talk about this often, not me and Emily, but like just how bad chicken can go.
No, like I had the worst. No, I had the worst chicken. Literally, another Nashville reference, and I'm sorry, but I feel like you can relate if you have just like
but I don't
shitty
think
Chinese
it's bad,
in your area.
But I don't think it's bad to be giving out references to Nashville because people like want to know those things.
Well, China One on Lebanon Pike
over here, yeah,
bro. Me and my roommate got that like
often
2 weeks ago, and the chicken was inedible. It was like if you know the dog treats that is just dehydrated chicken. It was like if you took that.
But that's what we normally get for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was not good this time.
Interesting, because
like,
we normally like that.
Yeah, no. The chicken was literally giving like I like spit it out multiple times because I could not chew. Like I chewed and 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 it literally wouldn't disintegrate.
Interesting.
Like it was like.
But was it raw?
No, it was cooked to the gods. Like it was like so overcooked to the point that it was like.
You got the bottom of the barrel. It was stringy. Sitting there all day.
Like at multiple times I thought there was hair in my mouth, but it was just pieces of the chicken that were so dry.
I hate when Chinese food does that, but I feel like that's just because like they like pre-make their shit. It just so sits there early.
Oh my god, it was some of the worst meat I've ever had, but specifically chicken. Yeah, which was such a shame because like we've had that so many times and it's always been good.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's really easy for chicken to just be cooked like shit.
Yeah,
and if you can cook chicken well, props to you. I feel like because to get like a juicy chicken, that's
but it's actually not that hard. I think people are just so afraid of undercooking it that they always overcook it.
Well, the only time that I ever cook it really well when I'm at my house is if I put it into my Ninja Foodie and I just pop.
Yeah,
and then I put it with like a little bit of like chicken broth or like something like that, just to like kind of I guess put hydration back into it. Is that what you would say? I don't know. It ends up being pretty good. That's about it. Every time
like
I'm
pressure cooker.
Yeah, more like that. And then like, well, I'll pressure cook it only if it's frozen. Other than that, I'll just like air fry it, and it turns out really, really good.
Yeah. Well, here's the tip. If you have a chicken breast, it's about 3 to 4 minutes, both sides. Take it off, let it rest for like 5 minutes, and then it will be all that juice, because you've let it set, will now absorb back inside of it, and then it will be juicy as fuck and it will be perfectly cooked. And if you think it's undercooked, you're wrong. It needs to just hit a certain temperature and you're fine. But like a lot of people think that like if there's juice in it, it's raw. Because
I just think not if it's pink, it's raw.
Yeah, I mean it shouldn't be like pink, but like it also doesn't have to be like chalk white. Like it can have a little hue in it.
See, like the little hue freaks me out.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people because
but it doesn't freak me out in chicken wings because it's like veins and shit. But
right.
Like if I have a chicken breast and I like cut into it and it's like a little pink hue, it kind of freaks me out.
Yeah, it's because it's two different like types of meat. Like wings are dark meat, right?
Yeah, typically.
Yeah, and so the breast is like it's not as tendony and shit. Like it shouldn't really have that stuff in it.
Right.
But like yeah, that's like even the bowl. The chicken fucking Caesar bowl or whatever thing that I got, it was dark meat too. But a lot of times people overcook thigh meat because like it's just it can take a lot more heat and take a lot longer to cook. So a lot of people just like keep cooking it to the point where it's like it doesn't ever feel like too overcooked, but if you know how to cook meat, you can tell. And this was cooked. Oh my god, it was so fucking good. Like
good.
It was so good. So yeah, if you're ever looking for a place in Nashville that like has just the quality of the food is good and also it's like not super expensive, it's definitely like you'd want to share. But the good thing about that restaurant is everything's meant to be shared. So it ends up being like not too expensive. But
I don't know. My favorite thing
good
to do in Nashville is like try different restaurants and go to all
same.
The
and I haven't been doing that like up until recently because financial wise, and now that I have like a bit of extra money because I'm not like paying my entire paycheck towards my rent, I'm like going to these places I haven't tried. I'm like, damn, I forgot how much I love food.
No, mine has just now been time. Like
it just hit my elbow.
Mine's more just been like time now because of like my work schedule. It doesn't really condone going to see like cool restaurants. But right back here, they just opened up like a cluster of new restaurants.
That Italian restaurant?
Well, they didn't open that yet. I don't think.
Oh, I went to it.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I went to it when my parents were here. It's pretty good.
That I was gonna say I saw the other day, but like the way that it looked on the outside, it looked
connected
like it was
to
open.
that Scouts.
Yeah, and then Sweet Milk is like a breakfast place, and then they have I forget what
somebody was talking about that this weekend. Sweet milk.
I forget what it's called, but there's a sandwich shop right there, and it's like a 420 themed like sandwich shop.
Oh, dang.
But it's like a chain that like, I guess I had one in Chattanooga because he was all excited. He was like, "Oh my god, blah, blah, blah." So fucking good."
But
like,
it's not like
so good.
it's not like weed sandwiches, but it's like munchy type food.
Yeah.
Oh,
but also like the sandwiches all have like 420 themed like names. They were playing like Bob Ross in there, but there's like
Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Like the painting videos.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's like a very 420 thing.
Yeah.
But no, it's not like.
I thought you were trying to say Bob Marley, but you said the wrong name because I was thinking like 420, like reggae, like smoke weed. And so when you said Bob Ross, I was like, they were just playing that. And I in my head I was like on the speakers, like what? Oh,
no,
like,
on the TV.
That makes sense.
Have you ever? Okay, the only time I've ever watched Bob Ross was when I was stoned out of my mind, and I'm just like sitting there like,
oh baby, I grew up with public access television. I watched Bob Ross many times. I didn't
watch Bob Ross growing up, but it was funny because we were sitting there and it was like, you know, like when someone's painting like that and it's like so up close when he's like, you know, painting or whatever, and you're like, I wouldn't have done that. And then they like zoom out and you're like, God damn it, he did great.
Yeah, he did
like,
it again.
He did it again.
Fuck.
Who was I? He was like doing these like mountains and he was like took a little spatula looking thing and he was like putting some snow on it. And I was like, the thing is, if I would try to do something like that, it would never.
Well, here's the thing. The thing about painting that like you realize once you start painting is like when you're so up close and whatever, you get way too in your head about like how detailed shit needs to be. And then you step back and you're like, I just wasted 2 hours on something that like now back here, I can't even tell what the fuck I just did. So it's like, that stuff you could do it, and like that's how all of his paintings are. Like they're meant to be recreated. Like they're technically very easy, but it's like teaches you the fundamentals of painting.
I feel like at least intermediate level is what he's at. Because the mountains I watched him do and the sky I watched him do.
No, but that's the thing. It's like it looks super difficult
fog he
and
put
whatever.
Over top of the
no,
mountains,
you could do it.
There's
You could
no
totally
way.
do it.
No, you should see. I don't think that I have pictures of the paintings that I had to make. So I'm not sure if I've ever told this on here, but when I was in my undergrad at the first college I went to, we had to take an art class. Like, I don't know why.
But like a physical art?
Okay, well, it had to be any sort of art class. And they had painting one, right? And I was like, fuck it, that'd be kind of fun. Didn't think it was going to be everyone there was going to be like super fucking serious about painting.
Yeah.
I was dog shit. And I think it made it worse because like everyone was actually good. I didn't know what I was doing there. If I can find pictures of those paintings that I made, you will not think that I can do Bob Ross intermediate work. Okay? No way. Not a chance. I don't have it in me. I'm not an artist. Like I like can see if like, oh, that's good, that's bad, but
yeah.
I don't got that.
Dang.
Not even for like my own like nail art. Like you're good at that shit. Like you're really good at shit like that. You have like a very steady hand.
Oh, but I don't. I got shaky ass hands like all the time.
I don't know, dude.
I just like I think it's like I've just done it my whole life.
You're just really good at it, and I could tell you, not me. But anyway, I was sitting there and I was like, how does he put the snow on there like that?
How does he do it?
How does he do it? But yeah, you should go to that sandwich place. It's so good.
Do you remember what it's called?
Not right now, but I can tell you.
Okay.
But also it's like right in that little complex.
Gotcha.
So like if you go there, you'll...
Because
it's right next to Sweet Milk.
Okay. Because yeah, when I was there, it was that Italian place, Scout's Barbershop, some like bar on the corner called like Chongas or Changas.
That's literally what I'm saying.
Oh, that's the place?
That's the sandwich place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking
What's
about.
it called? Something Hut. Something Hut.
Chonga.
Chiba Hut.
Chiba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have warmed up peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and like, okay, phone, do something other than that. But like, it was so good.
Dang, I need to go there. No, that Italian restaurant was really good
and
too.
He got a chicken parm sandwich and he's like obsessed with chicken parm sandwiches.
Yeah.
So like they're not all created the same for him.
No, they're not.
And
I'm a very big like a meatball sub, chicken parm.
Yeah,
like,
he loved that.
Stuff.
It was like strips of chicken that they like put. It looked really, really good.
Yeah.
I would go there.
Dang, okay. I gotta check it out. No, that Italian restaurant was really good. And the inside was cool. It's like 3 stories and they have like an outdoor area.
Right,
or
but
not
the
3 stories,
outside
2
had
stories.
like brown, like a wooden something on the outside, and that made me think that it wasn't open yet for some reason.
So the outside, it's like completely closed off.
Yeah.
By like the plasticky shit, and then they said in the summer it's like they'll open it all the way.
See, I was just confused. That's why I was like, "There's no way." That's
because we sat outside when we went the other night. But yeah, no, it was a cool little development, and I didn't know it existed back there.
They just opened like because they've been building it since I moved here. So like it's probably only been open like a month or two.
Yeah.
No, we asked the girl. They said October is when they opened up Sweet Milk.
Gotcha.
So
and that's a breakfast place. Gotcha.
It was good. I liked it. I also got a better option than he did, but it's very just like white people core breakfast.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of that kind of food.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's
in my head it was giving one of those cereal bars.
No.
Where it's like you get your own cereal and you get your own milk and you mix it up. I did that for a project.
There's a cereal bar
undergrad.
In 12 South.
I've never been.
I think it's called Cereal Bar. And what's even cute there is that you can go there and you can get s'mores, and they give you like 2 graham crackers and like marshmallows and stuff, and then they turn on the fire and you can make your own s'mores. And I think that that's cute because like what happens if you just like want a s'more? Sometimes I crave that, but like I'm not buying a whole box of everything, and then you have so many left over. You just go there for like
and pay the same amount that you.
I think it's like $5 for 2.
All of the stuff.
I think it's like $5 for 2.
That's
yeah,
not
but like
bad.
you end up throwing it away anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cute little.
Yeah. No, that was one of our business plans for me and my friend did that in college, and I don't remember what the class was. It was some like small business class or something, like start your own business, maybe entrepreneurship or something. Like it was something weird like that. But we had to like create our own business, and we literally were like, the teacher was such a fucking pushover. Like she was one of those teachers who's like, if you just smiled, she'd give you 100 on your paper or whatever. But for some reason, she was like being a hard ass on this fucking assignment or whatever. And one of the people in our group like didn't do sheen. And so it was like just me and my friend who was also my roommate. And like for the presentation, we made cereal bars and like brought those into class thinking it would like, you know, milk the teacher to give us a better grade. She did not. She like did not give any fucks. She was like, oh, this is so nice that you guys brought these for the class, and they were cool. Like we'd made like the same flavors that we had on our menu as like Rice Krispie treats for the class, and so we had like all these options, and they were like really cool and whatever. She was like, "That's just so awesome." And then we like went on our grade and like didn't do good. We were like, "Oh, okay." So I guess not coming to class and not paying attention does affect your grade. I thought I could win your fucking
when
grade.
I was in Ireland, we did the same thing. We had like a group of us, and it was like almost like Shark. Like or Shark Tank. What the fuck? Like Shark.
It was like Shark Week.
No, it was like Shark Tanks. Like we like that's how like our end of like semester, instead of doing like a test, we did this, and we had like this whole project.
It's like every business class ever.
Yeah, and I knew it was international like business was like the class, but I forget what our product ended up being. But we had to like go in there, and it was like our group, and we had to like sell them like it was Shark Tank.
Yeah.
If they bought in, like if we sold it to one of them, we got a certain grade. So I don't know if everybody ended up getting it bought. And then like after that, it was like, you know, he graded us. I don't think we did terrible, but also the grading there was so fucking skewed that like getting a C there was like, everyone was excited about it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. But like getting an E there, like, and this it sounds crazy, but it's so true. Getting an E there was like, you just passed, like you got a C.
Oh. What the fuck does their grade go
to? Yeah, like the grading, like no one ever got A's. Like you didn't get an A. That's just not how it went. I don't know. Like the grading scale there was so fucking weird. It fucked me up the whole time. I honestly didn't do very well.
They said we're graded on a bell curve.
Yeah, I honestly didn't do very well when I went to school there, but like
I can't imagine anybody would.
How would you? I learned a lot, and I thought that the classes were really interesting, but I had to take like dumb classes because of being there. It was like Irish studies and then like Irish literature and stuff, weird things I didn't give a fuck about. I was like, I'm just here to travel and drink beer.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
I'm here to be in your country, not learn about your country.
Yeah, hello. I'm doing it in real life.
Typical American.
I'm doing it in real life. Okay, I'm experiencing. I'm going on trips every weekend.
Yeah. I'll write my own fucking plan.
Yeah,
bitch.
I don't need to know about this. Yeah. Okay? This is stupid. Well, yeah, one class we just sit there and they would play like Irish folk songs every time. Horrible.
I talk about a weird fucking college class. I took a musical history. God, I don't remember what the fucking class was. It was crazy. The teacher was a certified weirdo, and his TA was like this ancient woman who was like the biggest bitch of the century, and she would walk around the class and like tap on you if you were like on your phone or weren't paying attention. And she was like creepy small little tiny woman, and the teacher was a real freak, and we had to like just the whole class was us sitting there listening to some random ass like instrument or whatever, and then it like taking notes on it with like no context at all. And the exams were that same thing. It was like, listen to this instrument, and then it's like, what is this? And it's like the options are like these crazy instruments you've never heard of, and like we'd watch like these like insane performances from like other countries like doing these like plays that like we have no context for. There's no subtitles for like what they're saying or anything, but like the whole time you just had to like listen to the instruments. It was so weird, and I don't remember what that class was.
I don't. Yeah,
college is like college in your undergrad before you get to take like your actual shit that's like for your major or your minor is literally so strange. Like when I think back about it, like the classes that I took were so weird and random, and like who thought that like giving the decision power to like a 19-year-old to just like rip through these crazy named classes and be like, yeah, that sounds good, with no context, because there was never descriptions, or if there was, it was like one line. It was like, in this course you will learn about instruments. I'm like, okay, I like music. Check.
When I went to my second college, this is the craziest class I've actually ever heard of. I didn't take the class, but I had friends who did, because I didn't have to. Because from like when I transferred, like I already had credits that like technically would have been like category or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I had friends who took a sex class.
I took a sex class,
but it was taught by a dominatrix.
Oh,
and they literally would sit there and watch porn, and
we did too.
And she would like basically like she was actually a dominatrix, and she would explain to them how to be like dominant in the bedroom, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy
because it's college.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? But like, I remember all my friends being like, oh my God, like, and their group chat was always going off like, this is what we're watching today. Like, it was crazy.
No, my sex class was like low-key so informative of like sexual technique and like the anatomy in terms of pleasure. Mm-hmm. Like we didn't like, it wasn't a ton about like your reproductive system and like whatever. Like there was a bit of that, but the majority was like getting people off.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
That's how this class was.
It was a crazy class. Like we had one assignment that was around like birth, where we had to like watch this like documentary that was insane. I don't know what the fuck shit was called, but literally we were just watching. It was like 3 births. One was like a bathtub birth, one was like an at-home birth, and one was like a hospital birth. And like it was like filmed documentary style, following these ladies with their like what's it called, a doula. Mm-hmm. And God, what's the lady called who like helps you with your pregnancy?
Midwife?
Yeah, midwife. And then the other one was like with a nurse. And so it was like the different ways that like, and like the correct way you should give birth, and how like in the medical version that people normally do when they're laying down with like their legs whatever is like the worst possible way, and you're like fighting against gravity and like the birth canal.
You should be like
whatever.
standing up almost, right?
It's like squatting. Yeah. Like holding on to something, like like you're taking a shit in the wild is literally how you should fucking give birth. And like it was insane because you see everything, like the vagina ripping open and the baby just like the shit plopping on the floor, because one couple did it in their fucking like living room on wood floor, but they didn't put a tarp down or anything, so her shit just like splattered everywhere.
What the fuck?
It was so gross. Me and my roommate were watching it, and I think at the time it was when Snapchat was like peaking.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's how like our group chat was always.
Stories were like first the thing. Yeah. Oh my God, we were literally like filming our reaction and like posting that. We're, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
But no, that sex class was insane, and it was really cool too because like it was like guys and girls, and so I'm like, these boys are walking away with the secret sauce that like the rest of these fucking frat boys and shit will never know where the clit is, and these boys got a fucking
front row seat of where the clit is.
We had to, like, one of our assignments was, like, our teacher had this, like, wooden penis, and we had to, like, put a condom on it and, like, show her that we, like, did it properly. And there was, you would not believe the amount of people who, like, kind of fucked it up and, like, didn't do it right. I'm like, this is crazy, because at this point we were, like, 21, I think. So, like, I mean, you've been in college for a couple of years. You've probably had sex, like, maybe a couple of times at least by this point. I mean, the people in this class probably did. I can't imagine you taking this class
and have not had sex.
That would be traumatizing.
Yeah, because, like, you probably don't even want to touch yourself.
Yeah.
Let alone look at someone else.
No, yeah, and we talked about masturbation, and we talked about also, like, the idea of, like, children, you know, discovering, like, that, like, oh, if I, like, rub myself this way, like, that's stimulating and that feels funny, and like at youngest of like 18 months old or whatever, you start, like, being cognizant of your, like, sex organs without even knowing it. You know what I mean? And so it was just, like, it's just such an interesting class. But, like, yeah, that's one of those things that it was like I had to, like, fill an elective for some shit, and I had heard rumors about this class that it was, like, easy, so that's why I took it. And literally to this day, that class has taught me more about, like, because I also, like, grew up with a fucking public education in the South when it came to, like, health. So, like, I learned way more in that class than I ever have about my own body and about the male fucking anatomy. And, like, that's why, like, literally after that class, I was like, oh, that's why they kind of like a finger in the butt, and, like, that's why they like their gooch, like, rubbed a certain way. I'm like, that the G-spot, baby. Like, it was just crazy.
Honestly, though, like, I would say, like, the education, regardless of taking a class like that, like, the education of all of that is what would have you be just a better sexual partner.
No, 1,000%.
Like, both sides.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we all walked away from there. I'm like, we all know how to fuck at a level that, like, regardless of if we've had the experience or not, scientifically we know what to do.
No, but I mean, that's no, truly though, because, like, education, regardless if you actually put it into practice, like, you now have knowledge, and, like, that's still power. So
yeah,
I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
look at your dad's money well spent.
I know. I mean, learned about fucking and paying for it.
He didn't think you'd learn that.
Probably not.
He's probably like, God damn it, that's about $3,000 I'll never get back.
Probably. And it was like a summer class too, so it was like a quick turnaround.
That's even more expensive. That was $4
grand, and it was like we were there for like 3.5 hours a day. And one of our assignments, we had to make either, like, the male or the female, like, genitalia at the end out of something. And so me and my roommate went to a sex shop and bought penis molds for dick cakes, and we made penis cakes. And she did a white one and I did a black one. So mine was chocolate, and then I shaved chocolate on the balls, and she shaved chocolate on her balls too, because we had to show, like, the pubic hair in the ball sack and, like, label it with, like, little things. And then we put, like, cream filling in it, so when you cut it, it, like, made it ejaculate, because the lady at the sex shop taught us how to do that.
And you said, yeah, put it in the cart.
A+.
Put it in the cart.
Yeah, it was, like, actually a very delicious cake. Like, I remember eating it and being like, oh, I kind of popped off with this.
You're like, I need to go this hard. This is an A-worthy cake for
Literally, nothing was soft about that cake. It was hard as fuck. Yeah, college is crazy. And, like, especially if you go to, like, I think the difference between my undergrad and my grad school was just so insane, because I went from like a public SEC party-ish college to, like, a fucking hyper conservative ass, like, Christian crazy school. That was really weird transition for me too.
Yeah, at least my undergrad was like, yeah, party school to well, this is online. So.
Yeah.
I mean, but also still, like, I know, like, when I'm, like, in a hospital and, like, doing all of that, it's just gonna be, like, royally different.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's not gonna really give school at that point. No,
it's probably gonna give more job. But also, it's like, I think it's gonna be weird, because I definitely never would have thought I'd be, like, in a medical setting. Like, if you would have been like 8-year-old Kellen, you will be in the medical profession, I would have been like,
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
There's definitely a point in my life where I thought I was going to be some form of doctor. And then when I grew up and realized, like, that I was stupid, I was like, that's not in the cards.
No, to me, it was like how much school I had to go to. Yeah. I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Nah.
No, I feel the same.
I'd rather be poor than go to school for 13 years.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. And also, literally, like, I could not do it. I'm quite literally not smart enough.
Well, it's funny
I could really, 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 really try and still not be like that great.
I think it's funny. I don't know. Because I feel like I feel the same way. But since this is something that, like, it's so niche and something that I, like, enjoy, it makes sense. So I feel like if it would be like that same fashion for you too, like just like a brain surgeon, like he for sure, you know, it's very specialized, right?
Yeah.
And he obviously needs to know other parts of the body and everything else, and it's a very like probably strenuous job, but at the same time, like his main focus is like the brain. Right. So like it's just,
but you only get there so far along the line. Like I'm thinking like the schooling of all of it, I just couldn't handle it.
No.
Like I'm just not I'm a great student with stuff I care about. I am the worst student ever.
I'd agree.
When it comes to things I don't give a fuck about, because like the way my brain works, I really can't learn it. It's like when somebody tries to explain to me how to play a card game that I've never played before, it doesn't matter how amazing you tell it to me, I cannot comprehend what the fuck you're talking about.
I'd agree, because it just feels foreign.
It literally sounds like you're speaking like Simlish to me, and I'm like, what? And they're like, it's so easy. You just put the jack and the jack of whatever the fuck, and you put it on here, and then you take two cards and you flip it over, and then you see this, and then you pull it, and then you say Pongo, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah, no. Last week,
I don't want to play.
That's how I felt last week when I was doing one of my case studies, and I was talking to my friend that I'm going to school with, and I was like, I feel like I'm reading Arabic right now. Like I don't understand what this is saying, and like after a while I understood, because it's like you keep reading the same thing, and you're like, okay, gotta Google every word apparently.
Yeah.
But like legit, I was like, I'm reading Arabic. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And then I figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, it's like, yeah, it's like, you know that you want to do it, so you got to figure it out at the end of the day. But for me, it's like certain, like if I just don't give a fuck about it, it says like, does not matter how hard I try. Like I cannot learn it. But then the things that I do want to learn about, I very much give like slightly autistic with the deep dives that I go into for it.
You know what? This is funny that you brought up slightly autistic. So the other day, and I don't know, like it's definitely not because I'm nearly as in depth with this as you are, like the side of like editing and whatever, but like still like being able to hear like cracks in audio, like you talk about this often because you get so like into it, right? And like I'm not to the level, like Emily is very, very advanced in like learning about this or like wanting to be, like there's so much interest there. For me, like I could just tell you like, oh, that's kind of, something's off.
Like
right?
You're able to hear like jump cuts and shit and be like, oh, that sounds like they're in a different room.
Like I can hear those things now.
Yeah.
But so the other day we were sleeping and he was like, I keep saying he because I don't enjoy the name that we gave him on this podcast. But so we were sleeping and he wanted to listen to rain sounds on YouTube.
Okay.
And I was like, fine.
Nothing like a YouTube video though, because that's just gonna get interrupted like every 5 minutes.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe it was like on a channel under 10K, so they didn't get that pop-ups.
But it was like a black screen, whatever. Yeah. I don't fucking know. Regardless, I could not sleep because I kept hearing the loop. Like I would hear it like I'd hear it like cut off and loop. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And I couldn't find his remote. And I was like, you need to turn this off. Like I literally had to wake him up. I was like, you have to turn this off because I cannot sleep. Yeah. And he was like, why? And I told him, I was like, I keep hearing it.
It's looping.
I keep hearing the loop. Like I could hear it go like,
yeah.
Like I could hear that. And he was like, that is like, the autism is autism. I was like, it is. And I need you to shut up and turn it off because this is crazy to me. I don't know. But that's.
No, I'm the most annoying person in the face of the planet to watch anything that isn't pristinely produced with, because I sit there the whole time and just say out loud every mistake that I hear and I see. And especially, don't even get me started on any local news station or news stations in general. I get it's live, but what the fuck are you, like, I don't understand how like you are a reputable like news station. Like I'm even talking like Good Morning America level, where I'm watching stuff and I'm like, how did that happen? Like what? Like it's just crazy shit.
And how are you not fired?
Literally,
how do you still have a job?
Literally, and like it's so insane how like badly produced so many things are, but people just don't notice or they don't care because they just like don't know. But like for me, I'm like, it's so easy to fix that. Like, why didn't you do this? Or like, why when you recorded did you put the mic in that position instead of this position? Because like that's gonna fuck it up, or like things like that. And like, oh my god, like I just go look back on like in like personal things that I've done, especially for my job, because like the thing about anything that you do is like you get better the more you do it. So like, oh my god, if I go back and like look at videos or whatever that I first produced, or even like the podcast, like go back to like old shit and I listen to it and I see it, I'm like, oh my god, it's giving like 12-year-old intern through this shit together. Like it's so bad. And like, oh my god, like audio and video shit pisses me off to no end. But also something about it is so refreshing when I see like giant YouTubers or like mega successful people have like shitty audio, or like they fuck something up in the edit, or like the camera's not focused while they're recording, or like, you know what I mean, like something sounds bad and I'm like, oh okay, like even people at the very top like have fuck ups.
Well, yeah, it's not. And like also a lot of times when you're recording like a YouTube video, you kind of have like one cut, unless you realize in the moment that like you fucked up. Like if you're walking along and you're talking da 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 da, and then if you don't realize until after you're in like editing and you're like, oh, the camera was turned the other direction. Yeah. You're like, oh, fuck it.
Right. Especially because like you don't have like somebody like a producer like there monitoring the audio or like doing the camera for you. Like it's like,
I mean, some of them do have that now, like if you're big enough, but like,
But even then, like I think of Barstool is a prime example of like, you have how many people putting hands on this show, and it's still like that fucking BFF podcast is one of the worst produced pieces of media that's like popular that I've ever seen. It is so bad. And like they have so many reasons for it to not be bad, and it's still bad.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like
I'd agree. No, there's someone like, why is that shit like peaking and you can't see him, and this person's like, it's like always they always they're like, can you hear me? Y'all hear me?
And also I'm like, cut this shit out. We don't this is like wasting 10 minutes.
The biggest rough cut of anything.
I don't think they cut it at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just
throw
rough.
in like the ad breaks.
Yeah.
And the even the way that they throw those in is so bad and abrupt.
Yeah,
like there's no transition. It's just like,
all right, Raising Cane's.
Yeah, literally. My favorite meal from Raising Cane's is I'm like, okay,
all right, we get it.
Yeah,
that's funny as fuck. Yeah, no, but I thought about that the other day because I was like, oh my god, Emily would like, because when I was explaining this to him, I was like, the only person that I know that would understand my pain is Emily.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I can't call her at 3 a.m. But like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And there's just like more things that I've been like doing that are like extremely autistic recently. And I like really want to get checked. Like I should.
Yeah.
Because like there's things that like I could like let go and not bother me at all. Yeah. Like there's parts of my house that are just messy, and probably you could see the same thing there for a year, literally, and it would never bother me. But if you put cans in my fridge and the label isn't facing towards the front, I can't. Yeah. Like I have to move it for some reason. It's just like, yeah, I can't. Like everything needs to be label facing forward right now, and I don't know why. And it's really just kind of an inconvenience to my life.
Now I will say, like, getting my ADHD diagnosis as an adult was one of the most like validating things I think I've ever had in my whole life, because I always knew my entire life that like something was like, I don't want to say off is the right word, but like comparatively to like other people in my life from like other family members, like I don't think they would understand like why I was feeling a certain way about like certain things, like little things like chewing noises that like my parents would make, or like the way that like certain things felt, where I would like spiral and like freak out.
I didn't eat
like,
desserts for years because like the texture like, freaked me out.
Like getting overwhelmed in situations where there's like excessive like people, or the temperature is too hot, and I like literally I can't like regulate properly, so I just like freak out and like punch a hole like in a wall, like crazy shit like that, where it was like, okay, like you're being crazy, but like ADHD is not really like a girl diagnosis. It's very much like a boy thing. So like little boys get diagnosed with that all the time, but like typically for women, you have to like self advocate and go to like multiple doctors. Not that you should doctor hop, but like a lot of times that they'll just like push it on like, oh, you're hormonal, or oh, you're depressed, or oh, you have anxiety.
As you get older, your hormones you're changing.
And
you're
I'm like, and literally getting that diagnosis, I think I was 21. It was like right before I moved here, I think. But getting that at 21 and like being able to like have a therapist that like understands that and like help me walk through ways of life to like handle situations like that has been like so fucking helpful. And so and autism and ADHD are like a very fine line with one another, and so oftentimes like people with one have the other, or like it's kind of like a, if you don't have one you show similar things with the other. But when I got tested, I didn't have autism.
Yeah, I don't think I actually have autism, but I definitely feel like I could have a form of ADHD, because I don't understand how some things can like royally bother me and make me like physically angry, but then also like other things like I couldn't give a fuck about. And then like also like an attention span type thing. Like if I'm like really into something, I can just sit there and like just I'm locked in. But then there's other times like I try to focus and it's just like I can't for the life of me.
Yeah.
There's not a thing I could do to make me want to think about this or focus on it.
I think a lot of it too is just like our generation kind of like not to say that like ADHD is because of your environment, because a lot of it has to do with like your family and like history and whatever. But I do feel like there is some, whether it's actual ADHD or it's just everybody has like fucking dopamine deficiency and serotonin issues because of the way that we like view media and everything's instant and like whatever. Like I do feel like that fucked up our brains like growing up with being like our attention spans are all just really short. We don't really have patience for things that older generations did, because also we were constantly being exposed to change, and like the moment something doesn't work, a bigger, better option is out there in like every facet of life. And so I feel like that also definitely doesn't help with like that feeling of like,
that's so true.
Why should I care about this? Or like, why should I do this? Or like, oh, I'm obsessed with this right now, and then 10 days later I'm over it. Like I will never touch it again. That's one thing with ADHD, that like the hobbies is just crazy. Like I will literally be so fixated on something for like a week, and then a week later I do not touch it. Like literally that guitar, I really still want to keep playing it. I pick it up probably like, I don't know, once every 2 or 3 weeks. But like when I first was like wanting to learn the guitar,
you did it all the time.
Oh my god, it was like 6.5 hours a day I was practicing. Like
You're
it
like,
was,
I cannot work, I'm playing guitar.
no, it was to the point where like my fingers were bruised because I was practicing so much. And then like the flip of a hat, I was like, I'm just gonna go get into something else now. But it's like the amount of like fucking things at my house that I have a whole like shelf thing full of just like weird hobbies that I
mine's not even hobbies right now. It's every little project I have in my house that I start and then I do not finish, and then I like circle back like months later, and then it's, to me, like this sounds maybe really bad to say, but like I feel like everything I do in my house looks like shitty because I half-ass do it, and then I come back and like I'm like, oh, you didn't finish that, and then I have to finish it months later, and it's like,
but by the time you finish it, you're like, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah,
like, I want to do something else, but like I don't have the money to like buy the other thing.
No, literally. And I thought about this the other day, because I was like, you know, like growing up, like my parents, like once they had the house decorated, like the house was decorated like that for years. Like they didn't ever really change it. Like my mom might buy like some new decorations, but like it was always kind of like in my head, like, well, once you do this, like this is like a set thing. Like if you're gonna buy this rug, like, you know, you're gonna have it for
you gotta love it for life.
Like no, you don't.
And
then that's the problem, is like when you have your own adult money, is like you don't actually. Actually, you can hate it the next week and go buy something new if you want to, which is a problem. Because for me, I like do something, I'm like, oh, this is so cute, and now I'm like, no, I want color everywhere. Fuck all of this. Like I hate that I have beige everywhere, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm looking for a new mirror, a new carpet, new outdoor furniture, new this, new that, like, and I haven't finished one single room. Because my kitchen still not done. Like the lining underneath my cabinets doesn't have any of like the backsplash. I just stopped because it was like, oh, that's hard.
I don't want to cut it to fit this part.
Yeah, I didn't. So I just didn't. So if you like look under there, big gaps. Like everything's just half done. So then I'm kind of just like, nah.
Yeah.
But then it also makes me not even want to finish it because I'm like, wow, I thought of something else.
Yeah.
But then I just feel like everything doesn't even match because it just is random.
Yeah.
But doesn't even look good. Like that's how I feel. I feel like it's just a half-ass everything.
What you need to do, and this is what has changed my life, and it sucks because the way your brain works is probably very similar to mine, where it's like, well, I don't want to do it like that. But you need to just pick a room and say, I'm not touching anything else. I'm not doing anything else. And this is like with cleaning too. If cleaning is hard for you, do it a room at a time and then break it down from there to like a sub item at a time. So like if it's your kitchen and you have like this laundry list of things that you need to get done, write every single thing like in minute detail to the fact where it's like cut tile, place tile, finish tile. Like that's 3 different things, but every time you finish one, you can check it off and it's like, okay, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because what's really easy to do is you're like, oh, well, it's only just like finishing the tile. But it's like, okay, but how many hours is that going to take?
Yeah.
Or like how much energy is this going to take from me? And like, if I do this, am I going to have time to do this, 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 and this? And then it becomes overwhelming and then you don't want to do it.
See, that's the problem with every little project in my house. Like I took the railing off because I still haven't even finished painting the ceiling or the hallway, which is mostly done. But then I took the railing off because like, oh, I'll repaint this.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it.
Yeah.
And it's like those little things. But like, yeah, no, I'd agree. And that's why I've told myself, because I need to get the outdoor furniture that's been in my fucking kitchen for months. I need to get it outside and built. I move it every time I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's got to go. So that's like task number 1.
I was wondering what that giant box was.
Oh, it's outdoor patio furniture that I bought months ago. And well, also it wasn't like perfect weather, but they were having a sale and it was like this big couch for like $180.
Oh yeah.
Which was like cheap. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to buy it. But it's just been sitting there because also I don't have room outside in like my shed. Like it's just too big. Like it wouldn't fit in there. So, but then today I was like, well, this past couple weeks, I'm like, okay, it has to fucking happen. Like that is like the next thing. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That is going to be finished. And then I'm going to paint the railing. And like, I'm like, kind of like, you got to stop. And
you got to write it down.
I know. And this room I'm turning into like my office for school. And like, I am refusing to even start buying or looking or doing anything for this room until all of those are completed. Yeah. Because if not, I'm just going to buy another desk.
Yeah.
And another one.
And then it's just going to sit here.
Because I'm going to keep like having different ideas for what I want to do. So I'm like, no, I need to finish every little fucking task in this house.
Yeah.
So it's all cleaned up. All the random ass boxes are put away. I can live a normal life. And then we can start this project.
Yeah.
I've been thinking that because I'm like, girl, you have too many random things and then it's overwhelming.
No, it totally is. And like, I am like the type of person who like, I am not type A at all. So I'm very much like when I have an idea, I either do it or I forget about it. And then I remember it like a month later. But writing shit down is like, it's what I do. That's why I have like a million lists in my phone or whatever. But recently I invested in a calendar, like a whiteboard calendar. And I put that up in my office. So like I have like my days and shit blocked out, and like it really does help. But yeah, you should just make a list of the big things that you want to get done and then make sub lists underneath each one of those things of like, okay, what all goes into each one of these things and like how am I going to set myself up best to accomplish these?
Yeah, it needs to do that
in the least amount of effort and maximizing your like capacity to actually get it done. I know. Because when it's overwhelming, like you're just going to be paralyzed and not do it.
I agree, because even today, like I woke up at 9, I went to a coffee shop and did school until like 3 o'clock. And then I was like, okay, I need to take a break. Like I need to just like not see my computer for a second. So then I came home and I started cleaning up like my back patio. And I was like, okay, first step is like I need to like sweep up all the leaves. And like that's a today task. So I did that. I swept them all up. And then tomorrow I'm gonna like I have like this like thing you like put into water so it gets like all like the gross like greasy whatever off the ground and like off the like wood and stuff. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow because I'm like, okay, like one task at a time, and like who cares if it takes me like 3 weeks to get it all done, but as long as I'm doing a little bit every day,
right, it doesn't matter
to get this shit out of my kitchen.
Yeah,
we're in the right direction.
Yeah,
that's
literally.
what I decided. So today, task 1 was clean up the leaves, and I did
There
it.
you go. And that's all that matters is like you did something.
I know. And I was like, I want to be outside, and I want to do something that's like moving my body because I just sat here for little hours learning about diabetes. I'm going to get fucking diabetes because I sat here for hours.
Yeah.
So.
Have you learned about restless leg syndrome?
Not yet, but I'm sure I will.
Do you know what that is? People use it very loosely, and I thought it was a really serious thing. Like, I thought you could die from that. But I feel like people at work all the time are like, I got restless leg.
That's like when you're like, it's probably has to do something with your nervous system. Because I feel like you're.
But I thought it was like if you'd been sitting too long, and it's almost like you're not a blood clot, but it's almost like giving, like, you know, when you're in an airplane, you got to like get up and move around. I thought it was like something like that.
Let me look.
Because if it's just shaking your leg, I've been having that shit my whole life.
Irresistible urges to move your legs. A condition characterized by a nearly irresistible urge to move legs, typically in the evening. Restless leg syndrome typically occurs while sitting or laying down. In general, worsens as in age or if you cannot sleep.
So it's nothing serious.
No.
So why was my dad acting like the other day when I said something about having restless leg? He was like, you need to see a doctor immediately.
Well, here we can go over treatments, Roger. Getting up and moving around helps the unpleasant feeling. It'll temporarily go away. Self-care steps, lifestyle changes, and medications could possibly help.
Because I think what I meant, it was like I have ants in my pants. So I have to like get up like 10 times while I'm like working in the office and just like take a lap.
No.
Because if not, I'm like.
Well, yeah, I think like restless leg is when you're constantly moving your leg. Like when you shake it all the time and like probably don't know. And I'm sure at some point, like as you age, it probably hurts because like your bones and muscles are weakened as you age. So I'm sure like at some point it becomes like painful. And then the only way to probably help with that is to get like pain medication,
I guess,
because I would assume that's like a nervous thing, so like it's probably like within your nerve system, because I mean, how else, like if you're doing it so mindlessly, that's like, I feel like that has to be a part of your nervous system. That would be my guess. I'm not educated. I'm not one to tell you to do that. Like,
all I know is I be shaking my leg all day every day like a fucking dog. Because like I just have done that my whole life. Me and my little brother do that. We'll like just sit there.
Me and my mom do this. We like tap our foot.
Yeah, my mom does this thing, and I noticed that I started doing it, and I feel bad.
Isn't that the worst? Kind of like I love my mom, but I like when
because I used to yell at her for doing.
I know when I start like when I know that I'm giving a face like her or I'm acting like her, and I'm like, God damn it, that'd piss me off if she was doing that.
No, literally, and then I'm like, I'm such a cunt because like I would be mean to her for doing it.
Yeah,
but like she does this thing with her feet. And she used to do it like when she was like intoxicated. So I always thought it was like, oh, you're drunk and that's why you're doing this weird thing with your feet. But then the other day I was sitting on my couch and I was like watching a show and my legs were like up like this, like on the couch. And I noticed I was doing it, but it's like with her toes, like she would do like she would like move her toes constantly.
Like fan them?
Yeah, like fan them and like move them like slowly, like constantly. Like it would never stop. Like the whole time she was like watching a show or something, it'd be like foot movement.
That's crazy.
And then I literally the other day I was like watching something and I like caught my toes out of the corner of my eye and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing the toe thing. And then immediately I like sat crisscross and I was like, nope,
you cannot move toes.
You're done.
You're done. You're cut off.
Because when I was younger, like when my mom would do that, I would always yell at her and be like, stop, that's so fucking gross. Like you're grossing me out. Probably because I had undiagnosed ADHD and like weird shit like that would trigger me for no reason.
It's okay. The way my mom would use a straw, like, okay, literally.
I'm so mean to my parents when they eat.
Oh, I know.
Because it like
every single time that she uses a straw, she goes, oh God.
Like she like preps her mouth for it.
She like,
and, like, it was like so dramatic.
She has like the wrinkles and then she like looks up. She's like.
My mom licks her fingers when she eats, but she does it with a straight finger like this.
And like the way that she gulps it too is like gulp, gulp, gulp. I'm like, can you not? I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
But then I do it. And
no,
I'm like,
I drink like an 8-year-old. Like I drink, I'm like, I'm literally like a little kid, like coming home from soccer practice, like guzzling my shit, like breathing so hard. And like when I do that, I give myself the ick every time because I'm like, oh good God, why are you drinking it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's just saying the ick made me think about this. So the other day,
I've been giving myself that a lot recently.
I know. Okay, so it's funny because like when you actually like, have a partner, like there's like times like Emily and I are like, oh, that was gross. Emily and I'm like, oh, that would give me the ick or whatever. Like you like see boys just like being boys in the wild and you're like, oh, that's the ick, right? But then you have a partner and you're like, okay, you can't really get the ick about certain things anymore because it's like, okay.
Well, because
like,
you have a attachment to them below like surface level attraction.
Right, but also like you have to like you realize that they're human too and like whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were watching Love Island Australia, which by the way, he's fucking obsessed with it. Like he begs to watch it, and that's not an exaggeration. Anyway.
All boys love reality TV.
Yeah.
They just either never watched
the first time he was just kind of
or
like,
they like pretend that they don't like it.
Well, because he's like, I know with like his exes and probably like his mother like has watched like The Bachelor, and I understand that kind of is like, ugh. But like Love Island is very different, and it's like the drama and like stealing of the whatever. So he's like, oh my God, like either I would do that or I wouldn't do that or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, just like I think it's just like the mindset of it's more like I'm a dude. And like whatever. So anyway. So we were sitting there watching it, and they were like talking about like getting the ick. They're like, oh, that gave me the ick. And he was like, well, I don't understand that. And I was like, he's like, is there something that I do that gives you the ick? And I said, yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't like how fast you answered that. And I said, well, because the other day we were at work and I thought about you doing something and I was like, ooh. And if I ever had to answer this question, I had an answer. So it's just like, whatever. But I cannot, if you, this is so bad. I'm going to say it on here because I think it's fucking hilarious because I told him. But at work, when he's like sweeping the floor, he's like too tall for like the broom, right? So he has to like hunch over.
Ew.
And like having like to watch him like hunch over and like sweep something up. I can't. And the other night.
No, that's so gross.
No, and so the
looking
other
like Quasimodo.
Yes, I'm not kidding.
Ugh.
And like he's a very good looking man. So also it's just like that connection because I thought the same thing. And then the other night
I got that humpback.
I know. And like, oh, so then the other night I came downstairs because I was managing and he was bartending, and I thought he would have been done doing that because I was like trying to stall upstairs and I was like trying to wait because
Jesus Christ, are you not done yet?
I was like, fuck. So I walked downstairs. He was like playing music, so he was like too into it because he was like picking music and like whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I literally kind of yelled at him. I was like, you're not done. He's like, you can go home. And I was like, I can't leave you here by yourself. Like,
yeah.
Also, I'm the manager right now, so like that just kind of doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I like helped him until it came time for him to sweep.
See ya.
Literally, I sat up on the.
Here, you can lock up.
I literally sat up on the beer cooler and I watched TikToks. I was like, I can't. I was like, I cannot. I will not be able to sleep next to you tonight if I have to watch you sweep this floor.
Ew.
I don't know. It's just funny because like really at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me that much. But like,
yeah,
I just think it was funny because we've talked about it so many times on here about like, ooh, like these boys gave us icks or like whatever things we find icky in men. And then I was like, I need to share this.
No, I think one of the biggest icks I ever got from somebody, and like this was a guy who I had like it was like a situationship, but we were like genuinely friends. And so like whenever either one of us would be in town, we'd like stay with each other and like play house for like a week or whatever. And like whatever, it was cool. But he was also just like immature and whatever. I never wanted to date him.
Right. He was fun.
But we were friends.
Yeah, it was a good time.
He pooped in my toilet and didn't flush it once.
What?
And well, he went to go take a shower, and this is every boy on the history of the planet does this, and like it's shit, shower, shave. It's just the order that they do. So
I do it if I'm around other people, like if I'm in a hotel room, I will turn on the shower, take a shit, then.
Well, yeah, I mean, as everybody does, but boys are like notorious for doing this, which I've realized is they will shit and not flush it, but they shut the lid. But they forget to flush after they shut the lid. So they shut the lid, and then it's like that like object permanence thing where it's like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. I forgot I took a shit. I'm showering, blah, blah, blah. The shower smell kind of outweighs the poop smell. You don't smell the poop anymore. And I walked in there and I opened the toilet up to go pee, and there was just turds floating in there. And it was in that moment, and he was still staying at my house, but I didn't sleep with him ever again. Like I couldn't do it. And like he was trying to like hold my hand and stuff, and I literally could not even like fucking look at him. And to this day he slides in my DMs like all the time. I unfollowed him on everything. I literally blocked his phone number. He slides in my DMs all the time, and I'm like, I can't look at you.
No, like having to see someone else's shit is crazy.
And I never
like, so
told
unexpected.
him that. And I never told him that I saw it. And the same thing happened, but this was my brother, so it doesn't matter because I'm not attracted to my brother, even though most Arkansas people.
Disclaimer.
yeah, I mean, I'm from Arkansas, but it's not like that. But he stayed with me like a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't tell him this either, so I'm sorry I'm telling the podcast. But like, he pooped into the same thing, and I went in there to go fucking pee, and I lifted the seat up, and his shit was in there. I was like, Jesus Christ. But I didn't say it because I didn't want to embarrass him.
Well, yeah, and it's your brother, and it's just like, I mean, if my sister took a shit and left it there, it'd be like, whatever. But like, abruptly walking up on someone else's shit is always crazy.
No, and like the shape of it too, like I can't get the image out of my head of like the guys. Like I literally was like, I can't get the image out of my head because it was so just like odd. Like I was like, you just don't have a good diet, and I could tell from the shape of this poop. And literally I was like, in my head, I was like, ew. That's it. Like it's never again. I didn't even kiss him, and he stayed with me for 2 more days. I didn't even touch him, even in the bed at night when we were like sharing a bed together. I literally could not sleep because I was like grossed out that he was like in my presence. And that's the difference between the ick when you're dating somebody versus not, because I had no attachment to this man, and I was able to in an instant turn it off because I was like, I don't love you and I don't see anything with you in the future. This was just fun, and now it's not fun because I saw what your turd looks like.
Yeah, like that's also to like,
and I'm like, you're a grown adult. And
you guys were like playing Barbie. You guys were playing Barbie Land. Like, you know what I mean?
It was
like
fake. Like all of it was fake.
It was
just
cute.
Fun.
Hee hee ha ha ha. Yeah. But like, no. Yeah. This is.
Oh my god, it was so gross.
Yeah, that's crazy. If I would walk in on his shit, I'd yell, probably.
It was one of those things where I saw it and instantly I was like, okay.
Yeah, no.
Never again. You're never touching me. I'm never touching you.
Yeah, no, I forgot about that until right now. I literally thought about that the other day. I was like, I need to tell the podcast this because like, I just think it's crazy. Like, you like can't have the ick.
Yeah.
Like things can be like icky, but you can't like have the ick.
Yeah.
It's like, well.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah. That's your man. That's mine. That's my man.
That's my man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Literally. Yeah, no. But I can get the ick instantly for somebody who I have no commitment towards.
Immediate. The amount of guys, because like I work at a sports bar, so the amount of guys that like come in and just like do things, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, last weekend.
What?
When we were at Urban Cowboy, like there were some attractive guys there, and I was like, this might be the pickup spot for me. Mama needs to come back. Like I was eating with my outfit. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I looked like the coolest girl in school, and I was like, this is an utter serve. And there was like a couple guys there that I was like, vibing, and then they like did something, and I was like, you lost me. Like it was like I didn't even talk to them. It was like a glimpse from across the room, and instantly I was like, yuck. Like yuck city. I would never touch you with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, because there's like little things that they did, but like one of them like was like messing with his nose. And like, I don't know if he had a nose ring or what, but like he would not leave his shit alone. And it was grossing me the fuck out.
If I had a booger or does coke?
Well, it was like giving like booger picking or like fresh nose ring. Like it was irritated and he was like trying to move it around. But literally the whole time I'm watching him, he's doing this as he's speaking to the people he's with. And I'm like, that is so disgusting. Go to the bathroom. What are you doing? Like this is a crowded bar. And your fucking shit is up in your nose. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Also, if he was doing coke, that's crazy because it was early. Like the sun had maybe just gone down.
There ain't limits on coke.
Oh, girl, I know. But shit is early because it was like a work day. Or no, it wasn't. Yeah, no, it was a Friday.
Yeah, but you have to think, people who go there, they're like hippies, right? Like,
yeah.
Normally that place is like, it's Urban Cowboy for a reason. Like, people are very just like, whatever. And it's also East Nashville. But like, I guarantee you half the people that go there are in the industry of some sort. So like, yeah, every day is just
and then there's like weirdly children running around, and I'm kind of like, there's open fire pits.
Yeah.
Maybe don't have your 4-year-old just like sprinting through this bitch.
They don't care.
I hate people like that with their kids, and I'm like, this is just not the best place for this. But that's the story for another day.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that's it for this week of Society 97. My name is Kelly Red K. You can find me at Kelly Red K on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And I'm Emily. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Starnsy. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram as well. We're at society97.pod on the gram. We're also on TikTok at society97pod.
And we have our YouTube channel, which right now we're not doing Tuesday videos, but we're still doing the video version of the podcast every single Friday. So if you want to go over there, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, we'll see you there. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.